After 4 rounds of the 2022 Candidates Tournament, last year's challenger Jan Nepomniatchi was at the sole lead. In today's highlights we cover the games of Fabiano Caruana versus Richard Rapport, and Hikaru Nakamura against Jan Nepomniatchi. With e4 and c5 the Sicilian defense, the most combative and aggressive answer to e4 was on the board. With e6 and the knight on c6, Rapport opted for the Taimanov variation, which is very popular with positionally oriented players, as they see it as a means of escaping the ultra-sharp and deeply analyzed complexity of other Sicilian variations. After 10 minutes of thinking in this position, Caruana played the rare move g4 and showed from the start that he wasn't looking for a draw. Caruana underlined this with the further pawn advances to g5 and f4. And with the rook move to d1 it was clear that once again we had a position on the board in which white has abandoned castling in favor of a king's attack and black has not yet castled either, concentrating on the queenside attack. With the bishop move to b4, Rapport allowed a double attack on his bishop and the pawn on g7 and chose to continue attacking on the queenside instead of defending his kingside. And after Rapport had blocked the white queen's way back with the pawn move to e5, it was threatening to be trapped. But Caruana continued his offensive and attacked the knight on g6. Please take a few seconds to have a look at this fascinating position on move 20. Interestingly, the only way for both sides not to lose this game was a threefold repetition, which was played. Applause and respect for this spectacle. This was coffee house chess at the highest level in history. The other game started with the Petrov defense, which is considered very drawish, so one can speculate why Nepomniatchi chose that particular variation against Nakamura. And the time Nakamura took for each move while Nepo was blitzing out the moves might suggest he was a bit surprised by the opening choice, which he wasn't, as he later stated. On move 14 Nakamura played rook a2 with the plan to surprise his opponent. He did play this move already in a game in 2016. But after Nepo thought for 15 minutes for the next move, Nakamura's plan obviously worked and the momentum was on his side. With the move bishop to f1, Nepo's queen was attacked and he chose to move to g4, which is a mistake according to the engine and also surprised Nakamura. Now Nakamura had a deep positional advantage and the clear possibility to play for a win. Which he did. And then in this position there was a 2-move repetition before Nakamura played rook to e3. As he had used up a lot of time by this point and there is no increment per move in this tournament, he explained that this was a good opportunity to get closer to move 40, when an extra 60 minutes would be added to the clock. On move 25 Naka considered playing knight to d4 for most of the time, but at the last moment decided to play knight d2, thinking that after the next move, if black played queen to b1 again, he could play knight to d4 anyway and win a few moves again to get closer to move 40. But when he overlooked that Nepo could play queen to f6, which he did, Nakamura was totally upset with himself, because he was convinced that if he hadn't played knight to d2 he would have won the game. And since the game was completely even again and Nakamura explained that he couldn't mentally reset, he decided to take the chance of a threefold repetition and so the game ended in a draw. We think this game gave a lot of interesting insights into the mind of a grandmaster and conclude that Nakamura was the only one so far who had realistic chances of winning against Nepo, and also that Nepo stayed cool under pressure. Since all the games in this round ended in draws, the table remained with Nepo at the top and Caruana as the first pursuer. If you liked the video, please hit the like button below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for the latest chess news and tournament highlight videos. Thanks for watching.